Bart.
Okay. Preparations proceed with transhuman swiftness. Weapons are withdrawn from the armory, blessed and ready for war. Their spirits pacified and ready to bring death to the enemy. The normal extensive ritual preparation of your armor is foregone in exchange for a rapid field blessing. With the crisis on the surface erupting as it has, there is simply no time for the indulgences normally attendant on such a grave operation. As you prepare your weapons and war gear, Squad Mattel's drop pod hurtles from the Angelus Tenebrae, bound for the surface and a mission of mercy which may already be doomed. Very shortly thereafter, your weapons ready, your war gear blessed, your oaths taken, and your objective clear, Squad Obsidian Skull boards its drop pod. As the clamps slam down on your shoulder pauldrons and the pod seals, the rhythmic cant of the drop preparation intonations in your ears are so formulaic and familiar as to be almost unrecognizable. Almost unnoticeable. And then, as the final countdown reaches 0, you feel the slam of pressure which would shatter human bones like glass as you are fired into the midst of a raging war. Almost serene above a toxic sea of frozen chemical fog. The spire resplendent, one of many of the aristocratic spires of Octavian IV's ruling aristocrats, stands above the chaos which has engulfed the hive below. Great plumes of black smoke pierce the frozen cloud layer, along with gouts of life gas erupting from shattered domes and the pierced hull of the hive's outer skin, and the fires burning down below as loyalists, heretics, traitors, everything in between, agendas known and not, clash in a world city spanning civil war. The serenity of Bruelis is a lie. Isolated and helpless, its weapons and void shields disabled, there is nothing it can do to prevent the fall of a star from the glimmering green sky into its midst. There is no initial warning. Points of fire appear in the sky above the spire and rapidly resolve into the plummeting shapes of high-velocity missiles, Death Strike missiles. The barrage slams into the Borealis towers in clouds of molecular acid and lethal chemicals, bathing the upper spire in a cloud of absolute death. The peons, soldiers of the house, innocents caught in the crossfire, either melt where they stand, are poisoned beyond recovery in seconds, or stagger screaming far enough to spread panic before their biology succumbs to the lethal chemicals of the Corrosis Inferni 17 derivative contained within the warheads. Transformed from a bastion of aristocratic power into a seething chemical hellscape with one apocalyptic orbital strike, following hard on the heels of the missiles, comes Squad Obsidian Skull's drop pod. Unable to penetrate the redoubt of the Sanctum Inviolate, even with the velocities capable of a drop pod is capable of achieving, you slam to earth on the outer platforms of the Borealis spire, killing dozens of Borellis house troops attempting to rally in the chaos of the chemical strike. As the braking thrusters fire and the clamps disengage from your pauldrons, sickly green light floods your senses as the drop ramps slam down. And now I will follow up with the next piece of writing. Your arrival sends a shockwave, first of surprise and then of horror through the assembled Borellis troops. Within seconds of your appearance from the drop pod, cries of terror and shouted orders split into the air. The troops, the survivors of the chemical strike, are clad in flak-reinforced chemical suits which obscures their features, as is quite common on Octavian 4. The platform is one which feeds directly into the sanctum, into the inner chambers and the sanctum inviolate further on of House Borellis. It once carried things like orbital landers, I forget what they're called, Arvis lighters and similar, and is exposed to the poison air of Octavian 4. Although at this altitude you are above the chaos and the majority of the toxins below. Below and beneath you, the hive spreads out like a mountain which fills the horizon. You are down. Describe your arrival, and what are your actions?
We must begin to purge these traitors.
So to get a grasp on the situation, is there anything nearby us? Anyone?
There is.
By the drop site in the immediate vicinity.
Yes, there are basically several surviving squads of Borellis loyalists on the drop pod and attending the machinery and support infrastructure, which leads actually into the spire proper, which towers above you, almost like a cliff face, pretty much. I mean, this is the scale we are talking about for the Imperium. Mechanically, they count as a horde.
Did we surprise them?
Yes, you did.
Did we surprise them?
They are reeling from a chemical strike on the spire. To describe the chemical strike, the spire is wreathed in like an off-white smoke. There are areas of the spire which are sagging and melting from the molecular acids that are inherent to Corrosis Inferni 17. Discoloration spreading rapidly. There are corpses everywhere. In some areas, the chemical fog is thick enough to actually provide visual cover. And the drop pod landed literally less than a minute after the missile struck. This is how fast and rapid the Astartes are expected to deploy. You absolutely have the element of surprise.
And how close are they to us?
The closest, probably within no more than a dozen meters. The furthest at this point on the pad that you can see, probably about 30 or 40 meters. Some are taking cover, others are crouched down, like behind barrels, boxes, control consoles. The whole attitude is, we've just been hit by artillery. What the hell's going on? Where's the leadership? We need instructions. It's a common phenomenon to theatres of war where you've served alongside the Imperial Guard and the Emperor Forbid PDF units. This is the chaos inherent to the immediate aftermath of an unexpected strike, and it is a devastating point to exploit.
This bonus, the squad bonus, do we have to be in squad mode for it to take effect, or is it just always...
For the oath.
Yeah.
For the oath, I believe you have to be in squad mode. I could be wrong.
Now that we have their surprise and have a whole free round to ourselves, you might as well go into squad mode.
Yeah, I'm going to go into squad mode.
Arvek will also go in squad mode.
Okay. So the squad emerges from the drop pod in squad mode, correct?
And how many cohesion points do you get again?
It's like this. The bonus you get from Fellowship, plus the one you get from your back banner, plus one you get if you have any training in commanding.
It's an additional point if you have command trained, I believe.
Yeah, command training, and then an additional cohesion point for every, well, what the fuck is it? Rank and actual training.
Okay, so
And-
I've got 1 command training, so command to basic, 4 for fellowship, so that's 5. What else was there?
Like banner 6.
Banner 6.
Are you an ultramarine?
Fuck yeah.
So you don't get one point for being an ultramarine.
What else? You said something else as well, Hojo.
I know,
That was
seriously.
an actual.
Ultramarines actually get an extra point of cohesion when they're squad leaders.
That was a mechanical question he asked you, Saint.
What do you mean?
As he explained, you get an additional cohesion point if you're an ultramarine.
But I'm not an ultramarine, so. But yes, that means we got 6 total, or was there something else that adds to cohesion?
No, that'd be it.
Yeah, it's depending on your renown rank, isn't it, as well? So 1 point per rank, and you're still standard, so...
I believe you get more cohesion for your rank, but not for your renown.
Ah, right, okay.
Because we do have
Yes.
renown.
At the moment, things are standard in that regard, so you have 6 cohesion.
Well, 5 now, because it costs 1 to go into squad mode, right?
It is free to use any of the squad mode abilities cost cohesion, and right now you can do a cohesion test right now as part of your free round to actually enter squad mode and still have your turn. In
Okay.
which case you roll a d10 and you pair it against your current cohesion points. Same goes for everyone else.
So, are we in agreement that we're going to spend the whole turn going into it, or are we going to take a cohesion roll and charge in?
Sure.
You may actually declare yourselves to be in squad mode as part of the descent.
Okay, we'd like to do that.
Okay.
The orbital insertion actually takes several minutes to achieve. So you may declare yourselves as entering squad mode during that time.
I would like to do this.
Okay. Gentlemen, this adventure is to introduce you to the concept of horde combat, actually fighting large numbers of enemies as one single organism. So, let's roll initiative. Let's do horde combat. You are down, the Borellus Spire is before you. Cleanse, purge, kill.
It's just good about power armor. History has like +1 to the loss of magnitude too. It's nice. Oh, this is gonna be nice. I'm gonna be going like first. Is it your agility bonus you add to your initiative roll?
Yes.
And plus your initiative in Deathwatch check.
Which is initiative again? Sorry.
D10, and then add the first number of your agility onto that.
Any other bonuses?
Does anyone remember what the banner did again?
Gives you an extra cohesion point.
Is that
And then you add whatever is your fellowship.
no, the first digit of your agility.
Oh, okay.
How many squads did you say there were?
In total, they count as one magnitude 20 horde.
Who's not posted their result in Discord?
I have not.
Hojo. Oh. So, in that case, with squad mode active and everything, when the doors drop down, Theros simply screams, I guess something along the lines of, for the Emperor, burn them all.
What
Vox
was the
Ampli-
bonus of the oath again?
Vox amplified.
Yeah, of course, why not?
As that bellowed roar echoes across the landing pad, it is swiftly followed by the percussive fire of Deathwatch weaponry. Soldiers' screams are drowned out by roaring plasma fire and the thump crack of bolt rounds. Okay, who's first in the order?
I think that would be
Nice.
Hojo.
Oh no, Hojo. Nice.
Damn, I thought I was going to go first. That one.
Brother Radagast, you have the first initiative.
Alright. So we ready to spend our first free round, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, we didn't spend the first free round because we were in squad cohesion when we came down.
This is our first free round.
Yeah, this is our first free round.
Okay. I'm just gonna spend the whole full round aiming. So the next round I could get plus 20.
Oh, we should probably say what we're using right now, what we have in our hand. Like, for example, I have my plasma gun.
I have a flamer.
Pelty Melta.
I have my power sword and my plasma pistol.
Bolt gun with metal storm rounds.
Hojo,
Okay.
you're aiming, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so.
Plus 20 our actual next turn.
And you said they were how far away?
The whole horde, the furthest edges of these scattered squads in this gathering response, the furthest outer edges are 40 meters. They are strung. They are basically strung between piles of pressure crates, barrels, loading machinery, the standard accoutrements of what you would expect from a landing pad on Octavian 4.
That's good. This is the range of my flamer right there.
That's it. Who's next?
Nice.
That would be Arvek.
Wait, I thought it was... Wait, Hojo, what are you doing?
Hojo's aiming.
Oh, aiming. Okay, so that's a whole turn.
Arvek, your action.
Spencer, I'm just gonna fire at them with my flamer then.
They're 40 meters away.
Oh, is that the minimum?
Well, it depends what's the range on your flamer.
My range is 40.
Really? The
Wow.
heavy flamer is 30, isn't it?
Really? I have 40 written down. I may have written it down. I'm gonna
Hell.
check this quick.
Oh, wait, no, the heavy flamer might be further than 30.
Oh,
Yeah, it
is
says
that the
40
special
meters.
flamer?
Do you have the regular flamer or the hand flamer?
Oh, he has a special one.
Yeah, switch his breath. Yeah, it's 40 meters.
I found it. This was the music I chose for the drop, guys. You may use it at your will.
So they're at 40 meters. How does that work?
I thought they were
juice-
okay.
It means that the heavy flamer can damage the horde.
No, I mean, they're at 40 meters away. Ice's range is 40.
Yeah,
So-
it means he's within short range, so no penalty to his shot.
Okay, then I will fire at them with that.
What are you firing?
The Satura's Breath. So I just rolled a hit then, right?
Not with a heavy flamer, no. The whole horde makes an agility test.
This represents soldiers scrambling out the way of the flame or diving for cover as it sweeps over them.
The horde passes. They take half magnitude damage. Can you roll your damage, please, man?
Now, what this means is damaging a horde is exactly like damaging a single target. If you damage that single target, instead of killing just one member, you kill a certain number, basically equal to the horde damage your weapon does. Do you follow?
Yeah.
A horde is basically equivalent to one of its members with a load of hit points, and the whole thing is one big cinematic battle.
So I got 18.
Yes, these are standard house guards. That would definitely kill one of them. So, right, can you roll? What is your flamer's range? 40 meters?
Yes.
40. Ouch. Can you roll 1d5, please?
2.
2. Right. Now, because they pass the roll, they take only half damage. However, that's still stripped off magnitude 8 from this first small horde.
I also
Right.
have the Death's Joy power armor history. I think that adds 1 magnitude loss for every hit. I think I read that right.
So an additional magnitude.
Yeah, with any successful attack against a horde.
Okay, so that's 9. Right.
The sorter's breath screams and bathes the landing pad in brilliant deep purple flame. The blast washes over the confused Borellis house troops, turning them into living torches in an instant. It literally sweeps clean the entire portion of the landing pad by the drop pod, causing crates of ammunition to explode, barrels of fuel to cook off. The effect is spectacular and immediately turns the front area of the landing pad into a raging conflagration.
The horde makes a morale test. Based on the number it has left, it actually passes.
As their comrades are consumed by flame, although the resolve of the Borellis house troops wavers, perhaps it is shock, perhaps it is fanatical dedication to the brood, but they have not yet broken.
Who is next in the initiative order?
I think it's me.
Your action.
Yeah, it's you, Shepard.
I'm gonna take half an action to use my augur array to find the best point to shoot at.
Which would be the largest concentration of troops, I assume.
Yeah, or best part to circle my my ball of
Mhm.
Melta in. and then use the other half action to shoot my multi-melta due to the suspenser.
Okay. So you have a blast rating for your multi-melter, I believe.
It says it has 60 meters range, and it says blast with a 1.
Okay, so what that means is you deal 1 additional magnitude damage to a horde.
And my Devastator has Unrelenting Devastation as a special ability.
Which is 1 additional damage again, isn't it?
Except for a blast quality, then it inflicts 1d5 extra points of damage to the horde's magnitude.
Okay. Right, so make your attack roll and your damage roll then.
Hundred.
You rolled 100.
Oh, 1d100. Let's go.
I was going to say, this is a good start.
19.
19, that is very much a hit. Can you roll your damage, please? And then roll 1d5 plus 1.
The multi-melta is 2d10 plus 16. Is that correct?
Don't roll. That automatically breaches their armor and toughness. You don't even need to roll the dice. Right. A flash of incandescent energy from the multi-melter explodes in the middle of a squad of troops. The detonation blasts debris hurtling off the edge of the platform into the glimmering green-blue void that yawns beneath the landing pad. The troops are flash vaporized. They just explosively evaporate into bloody vapor. There's nothing left.
Roll 1d5 plus 1, please, man. Hello? Am I still online?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
I pushed the wrong button.
It's quite alright. It's just gone deathly silent.
No, I pushed the talk and I pushed the wrong button. I rolled a 3 on the d5, so that's 4.
That's 4. So it's an additional 4 magnitude, 13 magnitude. Awesome. I should have made that morale check at the end.
After
Never mind.
the complete turn.
After the complete turn. Right. So yeah, as the
Roaring flame engulfs the Borellis troops and the fusion beam detonates a chunk of the landing pad,
flash boiling a handful of Borellis troops instantly. Who's next?
That would be Theros.
Theros, your action.
Indeed. So, I was trying to find out the firing ability for the plasma gun in comparison to the bolter. What's the most I can fire it on a half action?
I believe is a burst fire half or a full action.
I'm unsure.
Because I believe it has a burst of 2.
Because you said the full auto was a full action, right?
Yeah, full auto is always a full action.
And is the plasma gun even full auto? Because I couldn't find anything saying whether it was or...
It has, what's its fire rate? S/2
dash.
So no, it doesn't have a full auto. It has a single shot, a semi-auto burst of 2, and then it can't full auto.
It does say plasma gun rage fire. I'm not sure what that means. But,
Rage fire is just the pattern of the plasma gun.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's 1d10 plus 9e, pen 8.
Okay.
So 2 shots, would that be a half action?
I believe so.
Okay, I would like to do that. If I'm going to do the psychic ability, would I do that first, or does it not matter if I do it before or after I shoot?
You choose the order, but you can only make 1 attack, remember, so you can't use an attack psychic power and the plasma gun.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that makes me sad.
It makes many people sad who play librarians, but there's a reason you can't use a weapon and a psychic power in the same round.
Okay. In that case, I will. They're kind of just out my range for the most part. I think I might just have to fire. Yeah, I'll fire. I'll do a burst fire with my plasma gun.
Okay. Make your attack.
Pardon?
Make your attack.
Yes, this 1d100.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 4.
That's very much a hit. That's very much a hit indeed. Right. Pen 8 ignores their armor. Base damage of 9 goes right through their toughness. So you do damage to the Horde man.
Excellent. So the damage for the plasma gun is 1d10 plus 9.
No. The way it works is this is your first introduction to Horde combat, I believe. It depends on the type of the weapon.
Okay.
Things like single shots are very bad against Hordes because they only kill 1 magnitude a shot. Blast, automatic fire, template weapons, these are the things which kill lots of Hordes. If you have certain types of ammunition and certain rules which boost your Horde damage, those are the other things which damage Hordes. Actually shooting bolt rounds into a Horde, if you're not firing an automatic, it just chips away at them.
Okay, fair enough.
In this case...
Do I have to roll anything up?
No, you have done 2 magnitude damage to the Horde.
Excellent.
So, yeah. 2 of the Borellis troops... Well, 2 magnitude is actually 4 troops. No, 2 magnitude is 2 troops. 2 of the Borellis troops, 1 flares into brilliant blue light with a scream before exploding. The other one loses half his body to a clipping blast from the plasma bolt. More carnage on the platform. Who's next?
That would be myself, Sebastian.
Sebastian, your turn to add to the carnage.
I throw one of my frag grenades into the Horde.
Okay, frag grenades are particularly lethal against lightly armored Hordes.
And?
Thank you, Hoja. Okay, so you unclip the frag grenade from your belt and throw. Make your ballistic skill test.
Okay, sorry, how do I do that test again?
Roll D100 and you need to roll equal to or under your ballistic skill. Ordinarily,
Right,
the size of a Horde would give you a bonus to your ballistic skill, but there's not enough left anymore.
Okay, I rolled a 60.
Okay. Do you wish to reroll it with a fate point? Bear in mind that these refresh at the start of every session.
Sure, let's reroll one.
Okay.
Here we go. 48, fuck.
Okay. You hurl a grenade into the chaos, sending troops scattering out from behind some barrels. The blast doesn't kill any of them, but it does throw them. They scramble away from the detonation, importantly, driving them out of cover and into the kill zones of your brothers. Who's after Cullen?
That would be back to Radagast.
Radagast. All this chaos happens in less than 3 or 4 seconds. You literally emerge from the drop pod, take aim, and the conflagration erupts. Through this chaos, what are you doing?
He's been aiming this past who knows how long.
Literally a couple of seconds. Literally a couple of seconds. Which for an Astartes is more than enough time to draw a bead.
I just want to do a standard semi-auto burst.
Semi-auto burst. Make your roll. Do you have any traits which add to your Horde damage? What type of ammo are you using?
Metal storm rounds.
They're specifically anti-Horde rounds, aren't they?
They are.
Ouch.
Wait, does the squad ability not add +10 to ballistic skill?
Yes, ballistic skill and weapon skill tests. Don't forget that. Would that mean your grenade would have hit, man?
Rojas.
Yeah, I would then.
Okay, so
Gosh.
Hoja, can you roll your attack and your damage? And in the meantime, Rojas, can you roll damage for a frag grenade, please? Now, you do have to roll this one because a frag grenade actually has a chance of not affecting these troops.
What's the frag
2d10.
grenade roll? 2d10?
2d10.
19.
Okay, that affects them.
We can
Holy
say
shit, does that mean
we can say they got thrown, but the explosion of the grenade set off an ammo crate.
Yeah.
Got them.
That, by all means, add these kind of descriptions. This is how you create a scene and bounce off, extra descriptions. Yeah, the grenade cooks off an ammo crate. Although they dive from cover from the initial blast, they're caught in the detonating ammo crate explosion. What's the blast rating on a frag grenade? Blast 3, I think, isn't that?
Stardy's frag grenade. Blast 5.
Blast 5. Yeah, the blast and the secondary crate cooking off hurtles body parts in a bloody haze from the explosion. By the way, for those of you versed in realistic ballistics effects, please correct me if I go too cinematic, but we're basically in kind of, I hesitate to say this, Michael Bay Hollywood blast territory here for the whole landing pad.
Well, I mean, admittedly, I think Michael Bay, if anything, takes elements of his self from 40k, because 40k was around first.
Oh, very much so.
I mean, we
Right.
did just smash down in the middle of a siege, and a drop pod came out and fired a flamer plasma gun. Hojo didn't do anything.
No, Hoja's about to finish them off if he hits. Hoja, if you roll to hit and damage, man.
I haven't
What's-
done damage yet. I rolled
Okay.
a 34 against the 97.
Against a what?
7.
Holy shit! Okay, so that is a firm hit. Roll your damage. Actually, Hoja, is the base penetration plus the base damage of your round, does it exceed 8?
Not at the moment. In fact, the penetration is 3.
Okay, and the base damage of the round?
What do you mean by base damage? It's 7?
It's plus 7.
That's plus 7. Yeah, 1d10.
So 7
plus
to-
7.
Yeah, you don't need to roll damage, man. It automatically wounds them. The way it works is you need to do 1 point of damage through a single member of the Horde stats, like shooting at a single target, to wound the Horde. These guys have a combined toughness and armor of 8, which is tougher than a normal PDF or Imperial Guardsman. These guys are House Guard. Now, you need a 9 to wound the Horde. The lowest you can get with your penetration and your damage combined, because these guys do have armor, the lowest you can get is a 10. Do you follow?
I get.
So you don't need to roll damage. You wound the Horde. What's the Horde damage?
I have no idea.
Well, you've hit with all 3 rounds for a start if you're firing your bolt gun. What's the Horde damage for a Metal Storm round? It has a special rule, I believe.
Blast radius of 2 magnitude plus
Blast.
the usual tearing.
So blast 2, so 2, 4, 6. Okay, 6 magnitude damage to the Horde. Right. Having carefully judged your shots, Radagast, you unleash a burst of specialized anti-personnel munitions. The last member of the Horde to die is actually one of the officers. As he turns to shout to his men, drawing his las pistol, he is flenched alive by the exploding shrapnel from the Metal Storm rounds. His skin is ripped off him in strips, exposing blood, bone, muscle, and tissue, which then splatters apart as though struck by, well, 1,000
1,000 exploding bullets. That ruin, that percussive death, is the final kill as the squad sweeps the entire landing pad clear in less than 6 seconds.
Eros walks over to one of the downed, more intact pieces of, let's call them, Borellus debris. I'm looking on the face, is there any sort of obvious sign of mutation or anything on them, or they just look standard human?
No, you can quite clearly see the ones which haven't. All of them are wearing breathers or helmets against the atmosphere to some degree, but in the chaos, many of them have lost their helmets, or it's very easy to rip one off, and you can quite clearly see the signs: bald, slightly bulbous, malformed eyes. The nose is flatter than it should be. The veins under the skin are slightly too pronounced. We're a normal person or an imperial citizen to look at this person from a moderate distance. They could pass simply an ugly, bald human. To your trained eyes, there is no mistaking the signs. This troop was a hybrid. They are all hybrids.
We can see the mutation is in effect, but these are weak.
Does it matter? They're all tainted with these alien genetics. They have forsaken their humanity and the purity of it. By the God Emperor, this whole entire planet, if it weren't for those fighting beneath us, should be eradicated.
You're blinded by your book, Colin. What I mean is that we still have time. It's not quite as deep set as it could be.
I'll have you know that the Codex Astartes does not mention anything upon the purity of the humanity. We absolutely adore the purity of humanity. We absolutely abhor taint, such as these abominations, along with abhumans.
I didn't realize Inquisitors read the Codex Astartes.
And who exactly are you having this conversation with, Cullen? As I thought.
Anyway, Watch Sergeant, we should be on our way. Shouldn't you agree?
I concur.
We have much more taint to exterminate.
So what's in the immediate vicinity to us at this current point? I know we've got to head into the spire, and it's quite a large area we're in. Is there any... In fact, Radagast, use that
Yes.
device you oh so treasure.
Very well, Sergeant.
Radagast, you're using the siege specs, yes?
Mm-hmm. There is no awareness bonus for the siege variant.
The siege specs is capable of penetrating structures to reveal their inner workings. This landing pad on the spire, is part of almost, you can imagine, like a port frontage. There are several landing pads, each in like a staggered lines above and below each other, in like almost like a zigzag pattern. You've come down on one of the upper pads. The majority of this area is still bathed in active Corrosis Inferni 17. The troops that are caught in the clouds are busy being basically digested or burned alive by the chemicals, giving you a free punch straight past the main port loading docks into the spire proper. And according to the siege specs, you can quite clearly see where the main arteryway leading into the spire is.
And can we get into the spire through the loading docks?
Yes.
Are the loading docks open? Is anything open?
Is there a clear path?
Oh, you mean the actual the loading bay doors?
Mm-hmm. How would they be?
Well, they have troops on the outside, but no, they're not. The troops pass through an airlock system. It keeps the pressure inside the up. Because don't forget, you are in the exosphere almost here. If you look up through the sickly green sky of Octavian 4. You can, the way on the very upper atmosphere, it goes up into blackness. That is the case here. This is how high you are above the rest of the planet. You are actually above the cloud layer.
So the loading bay door is it
I see. They're
clear way
presently
through?
sealed.
It's completely sealed. Okay. Right, let's make our way over to the loading bay door cousins. We have a melted bomb to deploy.
Your titanic forms move through the smoke, the debris and the heat washing over your ceramite armor harmlessly. Astartes move at a pace that a human cannot match. Your combat speed is faster than some humans can sprint, and you rapidly cross the pace to the loading docks. There is the occasional handful of troops or menial bond slaves, servitors, the standard menagerie that you would expect for a high atmosphere loading port on a technologically advanced hive world. None of them are capable of offering you anything approaching coherent or effective resistance. It is the work of a moment to cut them down if you wish. What I'm trying to say is there is no meaningful effort to impede your approach through the chem clouds as you reach the loading bay docks.
Nice.
Mercy kills or
Sorry, say again, man?
mercy kills or liquid suffer.
Some of them are mercy kills. There are literally victims of the chemical strike who are still alive.
Should it be mercy kill or should it be
There is no mercy for the traitors of the Imperium. Let them die as the dogs they are.
You're coming through really quiet, Chaplain, by the way.
A cold and calculated approach to such things is indeed. They are debased by alien genes, and would you expend ammo on them, or simply kill them with foot, knife, or whichever tool you have to hand? These are questions for you to consider as an Astartes.
I will not sully my armor on this alien taint. Not unless one of these abhorrent monstrosities actually puts up a fight. Let them die as they are. Let these chemicals do their work. We have a patriarch to kill.
Howling alarms accompany your approach across the landing pad. They are atmosphere alarms. The house it's similar to an air raid siren, and you've heard this on Octavian 4 before in your previous operations. It's basically a general call to arms, hardly surprising in the wake of a mass chemical strike.
I stroll straight up to the door to the docking bay and place one of my 2 melta charges onto the. So just about maybe a meter away from the base of the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming I don't have to take any rolls, or do I have to take a damage roll
No.
as a structure?
No.
Okay, I get to a clear distance and set up the charge.
You don't actually have to get to a clear distance that far with a melter charge because it's a directed directional charge. It is the work of a moment to attach the mag lock on the base of the melter bomb to the door, depress the activation rune, and there is a brilliant flash and a backwash of searing heat which boils the chemical vapor off your armor, and the door glows brilliant lava white for a moment and then literally slops down in a molten mass of blasted metal. The airlock has been completely breached. You actually feel the blast of equalizing pressure as air rushes past you, and you can hear shouts and screams of alarm coming from within.
Theros signals to Radagast. Radagast, take.
Yeah, yo, hold up, guys. Something just opened outside my door. I'm gonna go check it out.
Damn. Sorry for the overly florid descriptions of the deaths, by the way.
Oh,
No
that's
problem.
good.
If it's excessive, please let me know.
You fucking skinned that man.
That's
oh,
what
no,
mel-
I guess I did. I skinned that man with a frag round. That's horrifying.
It is. Metal storm rounds are horrific, man.
That's why they're so effective against hordes. It's literally, when they detonate, it's like hypervelocity razor blades in a cloud.
Goodness.
I'm going to grab a drink real quick while we wait for Rojas.
My turn.
Well, if that
All
was
right, we're good. Keep going.
We're good. Sin's just jumped off to get a drink. What are the rest of the kill team doing as the door melts through?
I'm gonna take one quick look back and look at the planet before we enter.
Spread out below you is the world city. You can actually see it through the frozen cloud layer. The temperature up here is absolutely frozen. The planet is in its winter phase, and everything that hasn't been melted through by the chemical striker is currently on fire from your rapid attack, from your rapid assault. It's coated with a thin layer of chemical frost. Below this, you see flaring explosions as parts of the hive's outer hull explode and burn. And as I said before, filling the distance, you can see great gouts of black smoke and hissing gas from breaches that have actually punched through to inhabited areas of the outer hive. It's almost as though you stand on a platform miles above a sea of machinery, with the mountainous spread of the upper hive towering above you like into the upper atmosphere, like a glittering mountain sprinkled with gem lights.
Still better than a confined room we're about to enter.
This is, what's the phrase, macro architecture? You know, mechanical construction on such a scale that it is actually like almost a continent unto itself. And you have landed upon the very highest peaks of this citadel, amongst the perched, almost the perches, the spires, the redoubts, and the holdfasts of the Octavian aristocracy. Right now, from towers nearby across the face of the spire, fearful witnesses are staring at the burning, chemical-shrouded apocalypse which has engulfed the Borealis Tower, and many are wondering what on earth is happening.
All right.
Some know, and those who understand what they are seeing, those who have been privy to the conflicts which have erupted across the planet and heard the discussions, the rumors in high places, they turn their eyes from the sight of Borealis in fear that even looking upon the spire will guilt them by association. And more than one noble and house witness who sees the apocalypse falls to their knees before the nearest image of the Emperor and prays fearfully for absolution, for they know what has descended upon Borealis.
Wait, what did I miss?
Simply describing adjacent spires which are witness to the fate of the Borealis spire.
Is Rojas still AFK?
No, he's back.
Okay, excellent.
Some witnesses stare in horror, others in calculated indifference, some who have the barest inkling as to what is occurring, they dare not look upon what is to occur, for fear that even looking upon it will taint them by association. Remember,
These aristocracies were already in with House Borealis in the first place, correct?
Some were. Borealis did have allies across the planet. As part of the prior operations of this campaign, the key elements have already been purged, captured, or otherwise neutralized. But up here was supposed to be the bastion of safety.
for the house. Their void shields are down. Their macro weaponry stands silent. The other towers look on as Borellis is effectively executed before their eyes.
Well, speaking of execution...
Again, sorry if that was an overlong and florid description.
No, not at all. Radagast to Everek, take point. Powerload, you back them up. Sebastian and I will be right behind you.
Yes, sir.
I'll be happy to be the first to fire flames at the enemy.
Radagast, Arvak, you're the first to step through the molten portal, yes?
Seriously, something like this times 100?
Wait, hold on.
That's an oil field.
Far larger, man. Far, far larger.
Yeah, times 100. Or more. It's a petrochemical site.
Sorry, we were taking point.
You were taking point.
Sorry, yes, the description. Arvak, Radagast, you step through the molten portal. The heat from the blasted ceramite composite metal of the iris valve would actually strip the skin from an unprotected human. It is inconsequential to your ceramite armor. And you step through into a grand loading bay, which, even though it is functional in its arrangement of machinery, galvanic servo motors, power stacks, and all the other accoutrements associated with a loading dock, it is still nevertheless clad in the faded and corroded Baroque bronzite aesthetic, which you have come to associate on your time on Octavian as a popular, albeit ancient, conceit of the aristocracy. Even Borellis's loading dock here in their holdfast has a hint of grandeur, of opulence about it. At the moment, the atmosphere is rushing past you through the breached airlock. Secondary systems intended to seal the airlock against an accidental breach have been terminally disrupted by the melter bomb and are failing to seal the portal. Around you, you can see servitors mindlessly carrying out their tasks regardless of the current state of emergency. Monotasks, heavy lifters, cleaning servitors, one or two servo skulls maintaining and monitoring the machinery. The majority here are house thralls, which presently are fleeing for life support masks, any kind of breathing equipment they can get their hands on, away from the breach through to the outside. There is also a contingent of House Elite Guard here assembling in the wake of the chemical attack. They are what's the word when it gathers together in formation? Rojas, help me out here.
Be forming up, wouldn't it be?
Sorry?
Is it forming up?
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
forming up.
Squad of Elite House Guard, resplendent in their armored chemical suits with coloured sashes bearing the Bruellis livery of burgundy and yellow, are assembling in the middle of the floor in an attempt to basically ready some kind of response to the chemical attack when the airlock breaches and the Deathwatch Astartes step through. These are not so unprepared as the ones on the pad. They were already in formation, and although your arrival is horrifying, they are highly trained and, to one degree or another, part of the collective. As you step through, both of you, las rounds skitter and crack off your armor in blinding blasts of ruby as you are met by the house guard running for cover and attempting to catch you in the enfilade of their las fire.
once more. Rolling for initiative.
How far away are they?
This whole loading bay is perhaps 100 meters across. They are spread throughout the loading bay.
And we have to go directly through them all? Is that the direction we need to go?
To go deeper in, to actually reach the outer galleries of the Sanctum Inviolate, yes.
Burn them all, brothers.
The terrain
With
here
pleasure.
is crossed catwalks, galvanically fueled machinery, cargo 8s, load lifters, mindless servitors. You may at any point here claim light cover, and with a half action claim heavy cover. That's what you're looking at. That's the kind of terrain. Now we can roll initiative and take them to the next combat here, or we can pause there for the night and wait for next session, depending on what people want to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually get off right here so we can proceed tomorrow. The Codex of Stories would suggest that we would use a Nova Grenade in this situation, but I do have stuff I want to do tomorrow. So
Yeah, Hojo, you're busy on Sundays, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be busy too, so for a good portion of the day.
Okay. So we'll stop it there as the kill team breaches the spire.
Sounds good.
yes,
Okay.
I'm actually enjoying this character this time.
Okay. Right. I'm
You're
sorry.
gonna get your character